What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to give one of my testimonies. It's kind of like an uncomfortable thing for me to do because I don't speak about my personal life on social media, but God placed it in my heart to do this yesterday. And I haven't thought about the situation in a while because I placed it out of my mind, but for some reason yesterday it came back to light, and God, I believe He wants me to speak on it. I'm going to call this testimony From the Pit to the Palace, and I'll let y'all know why I named it that after I'm finished telling y'all about this situation. Thinking back on this year and last year, I truly see how God has blessed me from doing His will, His way, and not my own way. In 2019, in January, my New Year's resolution was to be a vessel for Him, and I wanted Him to use me in ways that, I've never been used by anyone, and I wanted to change my old habits, and I wanted to become a better person. So I surrendered everything and I gave it to the Lord, and I said, Lord, use me and help me change to be the better person that You intended me to be. So God is funny. He's really funny. I've always been a loving, caring type of person, but growing up, like, my hand was always like this. You can't get nothing in, you can't get nothing out. So growing up, my parents taught us to work hard for what you want, and so they instilled that in me, and that was my mentality. And so I worked my butt off. Like, if I wanted allowance, I would do what I had to do to get allowance. And growing up in college and everything like that, like, I would work really hard to earn what I had. And when it comes to people asking me for money, I would either give them a little bit or give them nothing. Like, it was just white and black. Like, why should I have to give you my money I work for? Like, it's my money. I want to spend it how I want to spend it. Like, I don't want to give somebody my hard-earned money. Like, that's how it was. And in 2019, my New Year's resolution was to change that and become a better person. And I wanted to give, I wanted to be that giving person if I could. So I noticed that, again, you got your hand like this, you can't get nothing in and you can't get nothing out. So no blessings was coming to me because I wouldn't release blessings out, So in March of 2019, God put me to, like, the ultimate test, over the top test. Like, He was testing me. On that day, one of my coworkers came to work, and she was very sad. Her eyes was red, and it looked like she'd been through a lot that night. So she was going back and forth to her car, and with me being the type of person I am, I asked her, like, are you okay? And if you need anybody to talk to, I'm here, And this particular coworker I haven't known for a long time, and we never really conversated, only like a hi and bye, when we see each other. But until this day, this when we had an intimate conversation. And she told me that she's 2 weeks from being evicted from her house, and she had a close family relative that was moving down soon, and the relative was pregnant. So I felt really bad for her. And as I was thinking on what to do, my whole body, like, shut down completely, and I felt the Spirit speak out of me. Like, I had no control of what I was saying. And the first thing I asked her was, how much you need? Like, straight like that, like, just how much you need. To owe me? I'll be praying for you to get that money. That's what I would have said, but I had no control over what I was saying. Like, the first thing was how much you need. And I'm gonna be real with y'all, she told me $1,500. Like, that's a lot of money for me to give. I don't even have no money like that, but I had enough in my savings to help somebody. So I told her I would see what I can do after she told me the amount. And once the conversation had ended, like, I asked myself, like, what are you doing? Like, we in the midst of trying to find a home. I need all the money I can. Like, why are you trying to give some money away? Like, God tested me. And I already told this woman that I'm going to see what I can do. I had no control over it. So, like, I was just tripping that whole day. Like, what can I do to help this woman? Checking my savings account, my checkings account, and I seen that the money was there, but my flesh was telling me no, but God was telling me to give. So I decided that I was going to give her the whole amount that she asked for. And she told me that she was going to pay me back in April of that year when she got her taxes, because her taxes was in an audit or something like that. And I believed her. So the next day, that night when we talked, I had wrote up a contract. Flesh, God told me to give, but my flesh was like, no. So I still gave it, but I wrote out a contract, and the contract stated a few terms. And the next day I had the money in hand, but we went to her bank and got it notarized. Her signature was on there, and the notary signature was on there to make everything stick. After all, that's what I prayed for in the beginning of the year, was to help people and to throw away my old ways and to become a new person. And so 3 months had passed, and in the contract I stated after 3 months of no payment, then interest would be added. With me thinking like, okay, if I give her money, I'm gonna get more back, you know, because if she don't pay, there's more money coming to me. So that's the way I was thinking. But again, God told me to give, so my flesh was fighting, like, write down a contract, get some interest so you can get some money back. So I was looking for a come up. Well, after those 3 months passed, probably like around the second month after I gave her the money, she had transferred to another facility. And I'm not the type of person to be on your head about getting my money. Like, every time we were there together at work, everything seemed normal, as if I didn't even give her no money. I didn't want her feeling uncomfortable. So, and I never did make her feel uncomfortable. So after she transferred, I didn't say nothing that whole time until October. And that's the date when the contract had ended. You know, after 6 months, I told her that if you don't have any payments within 6 months, then basically I can ask you to take out a loan. So I hit her up. Haven't heard from her at all since March. I hit her up and I was like, hey, you know, how's everything? Just wanting to know when you're going to be able to, you know, pay me. If you need more time, let me know. If you need to make monthly installments, let me know. You know, what can I do to help? Well, the contract had ended in September, but even in September, I gave her that open window, you know, for more time. So once I did reach out to her in October, she told me that she'll be able to pay me mid-October because she'll get some type of bonus from work. I believed it. So the end of October came around, still nothing, like no response, no call, no nothing. So that's when I reach out again. Hey, you promised to pay me in October. Like, what's going on? I'm kind of getting upset because why did I have to reach out to you? You know, you promised to pay me at this date. You could have reached out to me and told me if you needed more time. Like, why do I have to constantly ask you, you know, for my money? Like, I'm getting aggravated now because I feel like she's playing with my emotions. And at the same time, like, I never told Alex what I done because I didn't want him blocking me from blessing somebody. I didn't want him getting in the way of God's will. So I didn't want him to know, because at the end of the day, we weren't married. So I felt like my money was my money. I could do whatever I wanted to do with it. Well, October came around. Once I sent that last message about her paying me because she said she was going to pay, well, she never responded. So the next day, I messaged her, hey, is everything okay? Never responded. So now I'm like, gosh, now I have to tell Alex, because in a few weeks we're getting married, and I did not want to go into this marriage holding on to this secret. And on top of that, like, I needed his help on how to get my money back. And I am just so thankful for my husband, because he took it in a way that was just so calm and respectful. And I'm just, I should have just told him the whole time instead of keeping it from him. But after I told him the whole story and showed him the contract and everything, he took over and spoke on my behalf. And the message that he sent her, like, she responded ASAP. And to make a long story short, her true colors came out. She made me feel like I was wrong for giving her money and she was the victim. Like, I've never been so disappointed in myself in my entire life. Like, trying to do good for helping somebody and they slap you in the face like that. Like, I was so angry, like very angry. And the holidays were coming up. This was November. The holidays was coming up, so me being the type of person I am, I didn't want to ask for that much money knowing she had a family and the holidays, you know. So I pushed it off until the New Year's. So in January of 2020, instead of setting a New Year's resolution, me and my husband, we got married November 16th, 2019. Me and my husband went on a fast, and it was a Daniel fast. We went along with the church. And during this time, y'all, these 21 days, I documented every day. My prayer requests, you know, testimonies that happened. I document everything. As you know, if y'all follow me in my stories, I let y'all know that I like to journal. So that when this time comes, that I can present, you know, what God has done for me. So we went on a Daniel fast, and God spoke to me in a way that blew my mind. And I'll post the picture of my journal that I wrote that day, and I'll post a link to my pastor. God spoke to me through my pastor. And once y'all hear it, you're going to be amazed, because God uses people to get his word to whoever he wants it to go to. And that particular day, it was for me. So I call this testimony from the pit to the palace, because if you think about Joesph, he was a good person, and his brothers threw him into a pit because of a dream he had. And like with me, I felt like I got thrown in the pit for doing good for somebody that needed help. And I'm gonna say this, I wasn't physically in the pit, but mentally my mind was in the pit, because every day I was upset with myself. I was angry, I was disappointed, I was mad because I kept a secret from my husband. I kept questioning God, like, why would you tell me to do this? Like, what? Here I am helping somebody. Is this what people get back from being nice? Like, every day I would think about that, and I couldn't be happy, because I couldn't understand why somebody would do me like that. You know, I needed my money back. We weren't hurting or anything like that, but at the same time, it was my money, and that's where my mind was at the time. I was angry. So that particular day when God spoke to me, that same day, I sent her a text, and I let her know, I forgive you, and I'm shredding the contract. Like, you're debt free with me. I'm done. So if you look at my journal, it says everything that I said in there, but basically I let it go so I can grow, like my pastor said. And if you click on the link or the video, you will see the exact words that he said. I'm getting chills just by thinking about that day. But that was me in the pit. This is me in the palace. So that was a situation God put me through to help me change. And in the beginning of January, we started searching for a home. That was our year to buy a house. So in February, the whole month, we were just looking for homes. And we found a house that we loved, but the house had termites. So that was a no-go. So we were looking for a contemporary home, nice sized backyard, a pool. And the main thing is that we didn't want any HOA fees. So the house that we found with the termites was perfect. But then we had to start back from scratch, because we're not living in the house. We're not paying for a house that's infected. So after I had blessed her with that money, we had found a house that was in our budget. It had a pool, it had everything. So, you know, once we set up the viewing, they say, they didn't tell me this till after the fact, but they say not to show facial expressions, not to show that you like the home or anything like that. So we went into this particular house, and I was amazed. I'm like, oh my gosh, this, oh my God, that, oh, it's so cute. Like, oh, I can see us living here. Like, I was over the hill, and I know they had cameras in there. Like, once we left out Alex, and the realtor was like, you can't be doing that. And I'm like, well, why y'all should have said something. I ain't know. So the owners were asking way too much, like, and they weren't coming down off of it. So I figured, like, oh well, I'll do better next time. So the same exact house next door to it was another house on sale, but it was $20,000 more than what our budget was. So here we are at square one again. A couple of days after, I look on Zillow and I see the same exact house that was $20 above our budget. It dropped down $20,000. So I'm like excited. I'm like, maybe this is a sign. Like, Alex, come on, let's call the realtor. Let's set up, a viewing. So once we set up the viewing, we went inside of the home, and this is like April. So it was after the fact that I gave the money to the lady. So we set up the viewing. When we came into the house, we were like, I'm not showing no expression, but inside I'm like jumping, like, oh my God, oh my God. So after we came into the house, it felt like home. It was a feeling as if God said, it's yours. Just follow the steps to get it. So we told the realtor, like, we want this. Like, let's make a deal right now. A few weeks later, 2 days after our anniversary was April 24th when we first met each other. 2 days after our anniversary, we had signed off and got the keys for our beautiful home. And I feel like in that moment, when I had blessed that lady with that money, God was setting up a blessing for us, which was this beautiful house he set us in. And now I feel like I'm in the palace, and I didn't notice what God was doing back then until now, yesterday. I got to thinking, like, dang, after I did bless her, God blessed us with a home, because we were struggling. And it's just amazing how God works. And it's crazy because I planted that seed in March of 2019. I didn't see the harvest from it until now. And like I said, I didn't start thinking about all of this until yesterday. Like, in March of this year, God gave us a vision of rough graphics. Rough graphics wasn't thought of in January of this year or February this year. It didn't come about until March. That's when we started planning, when this whole pandemic came. That's when everything unleashed, like, something within us. Like, all right, it's time to do more. Let's get it. Let's put our heads together. Let's create a family business. Like, we were on it, and God dropped this bomb on us out of nowhere. So it's like we are seeing that seed that I planted grow, and it's done multiplied, more than double. So as I look back on my life, I thank God for putting me to the test, because with me being obedient and actually listening to him and following his will, his way, and not my own, he placed us in a position where we can be wealthy, and we can carry that wealth on down to our generations, like carry it on to our children. I can teach Monty the ways to do what we do. He can teach his kids the ways. Like, it's a blessing. In the Bible, he talks about generational wealth. Like, he has set us up for that. And I truly believe it was based off of the seed that I planted in 2019. So I say this to encourage y'all that no matter what you're going through right now, God is always going to be amidst of it. And he is not going to ever put you in anything that you can't handle. Like Hebrews 13:5, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. And I truly, truly believe that. I believe it with all my heart, because he showed me. And if you are just obedient to God's word, and if you just listen, open your ears and close your mouth, he will drop a lot of things on you. But you gotta be willing to, like, give your all to him. And I'm thankful that I did, because now I can look back on everything that God has put me through, and I know for a fact that he brought me through it. So I hope that this message encourages you all to forgive and to forget, and to just love people, be the vessel that God wants us to be, help others, and just be happy. Like, don't hold any grudges. Love thy neighbor, and just let God use you the way he wants to use you. Thank you. And I forgot to mention that even though we were placed in our home in April of 2019, you would think that I would be in the palace then, but my mind was still in the pit. Yes, I have this beautiful home and I have my beautiful family, but my mind was so consumed of her owing me the money, and I couldn't get over that. So I would beat myself up every day about that, and I was just so angry because she wouldn't respond to me, and I was angry because how could I be so stupid to give my money away? And again, I was still in the pit even though we were in the palace. I just wanted to clarify that in case, some of y'all are thinking, well, you had the home. I had the home, but I wasn't happy because of the state of mind I was in.
We all owe a debt. And Christ paid that debt on the cross. None of us can hold someone hostage for what they have done to us. Because truth be told, we have all hurt somebody. All of us. So God says, this huge debt, all your sins, I have forgiven you of. And you have the audacity to hold somebody hostage? Let me see your hands. Let me see your side. Are there holes in your hand? Did you die for anybody? Forgive again so you can live again. Let them go so you can grow. Forgiveness is not about them. Forgiveness is all about you. Don't allow yourself to be in that self-imposed prison. Let them go so you can grow. Forgive again so you can live again. My final verse for today is Romans 12:14. It reads this: bless those who persecute you, who cause harm or hardship. Bless and do not curse them. Wow. Pastor, you just don't understand what I've been through and how they've hurt me. You understand? We're all flesh. It hurts. But the things I'm asking of God are too big for me to let unforgiveness steal my prayers.